There's a line open. Let me go to Ronnie out of Ohio, Cincinnati, Ohio. Ronnie, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Uncle Jesse, how we doing today?
All is well, sir. How you?
All is well. Life is good. God been good to me. I cannot complain.
Nice.
Yes, sir. So I wanted to call and ask, you normally do give some good advice. I wouldn't say that all of your advice is good. But in the midst of giving advice, I want to know if you think that you've ever contradicted yourself.
Not that I can remember offhand.
Okay. So when you say things like, Grandpa, tell me about the good old days and I want my country back.
Right.
And then you tell people that yesterday doesn't exist. Is that not a contradiction?
No.
Why not?
You think of that as a contradiction?
I think if you're talking about bring me back how things were yesterday or 3 or 4 decades ago, that you're looking at yesterday in the past, and then you tell people that yesterday doesn't exist.
Oh, and what do you think I mean by yesterday? When I say I want my country back or bring back those good old days, what do you think I mean by that?
What do you mean if you're not talking about the past?
I'm talking about when fathers and mothers were together raising their children and teaching their children how to treat themselves and others. I'm thinking about when there were jobs and people who committed crime, punished, put in jail, wasn't based on color, but it's commit the crime, things like that. When folks were working, they drilled oil and they bought land and that kind of stuff.
So you don't think that we're drilling oil, or that people are working, or that people are raising their kids, or that criminals aren't going to jail?
For the most part, it's not happening. And even in Alaska, Joe Biden administration they wouldn't even allow the people to drill there. They stopped the drilling there. They wouldn't renew the permit to drill.
Okay, so back to my original point, even if all of that stuff is true or not true, when you talk about those things from the past, how is that not contradicting yourself when you say that yesterday doesn't exist and all we have is right now?
I don't quite understand the question concerning that. You don't see what I mean about those things?
Those are examples we can go back and forth on.
Right.
I didn't want to go down that rabbit hole. I think my original question is still valid, and where you tell people yesterday doesn't exist. I agree when you say don't worry about tomorrow.
Right.
And then all we have is now. But when you constantly live in the past or dwell on the past and then tell people yesterday doesn't exist, I see that as a contradiction.
Well, I don't quite, even though I have just explained to you what I mean by it, you still see it as a contradiction?
Yeah, because you're talking about the past and things that aren't happening right now, and then tell other people that yesterday doesn't exist.
But those things can happen right now. All the people have to do is start doing it.
And I would still contest that those things are happening. As a parent and somebody that works 40 plus hours a week and raises my daughter, and my friends, I see parents locally and I guess in the news media that are working hard and taking care of their families, and I see criminals going to jail every day. So to say that those things aren't happening, that might be something else that we can add to the list of things that you say that are either contradictory or perhaps untrue.
Do you think that I'm telling people to live in the past by saying I want my country back?
No.
Do you think I'm living in the past when I say I want? But why do you think I'm living in the past then?
I don't say living in it.
Not living, but why you see a contradiction?
Because you reflect on it, you dwell on it, and you bring it up. And then you tell people that yesterday doesn't exist, even though you talk about yesterday or back in, you'll go back 70 years, 60 years and talk about how things were then. And then if 60 years ago doesn't exist, if yesterday doesn't exist, how does 60 years ago exist?
So you believe that reflecting is thinking of as believing that there is a past?
I think if you talk about how things were 60 years ago, then that means 60 years ago had to exist. And how can 60 years ago exist if yesterday does not?
It did exist, but it existed then. It doesn't exist now, except in the imagination.
Okay, I guess so.
Thank you, Ronnie. I appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir. Uncle Jesse, you have. Oh, real quick. I know you said men shouldn't get electric cars because they made for women.
Right.
What about an electric pickup truck?
Does it make no? I've not heard an electric pickup truck drive how it sounds. Is it soft like a car?
I'm not sure. I'm a Dodge Ram driver myself.
Nice.
And I know that the new Dodge Ram is they got an electrical version of it. So I was gonna do some research and see if I can make Joe Biden or them pay for it if I get one. But
right.
I didn't want to do it if it's not manly.
Once you go and check it out, if it make no noise, if it just glides across the road, I wouldn't recommend it. You want a manly truck.
Understood, huh? All right, I appreciate you taking my call. Have a good rest of
You too, buddy. Thank you for the call.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right.